First off, when it comes to the end of the season, nobody's healthy. Everybody's playing with something. I mean, the Celtics, the last 5, 6 years, have played 100 games a season, pretty much, going
Mm.
as far as they have in the playoffs. Playing that deep all the way up until like June, even late May, it's a quick turnaround.
Mm.
Sometimes players go play for their country in FIBA or the Olympics just happened. Didn't affect Tatum too much, but or Brown. But
You had to throw that
the
in there, didn't you?
the the
GMLB family, welcome back to another episode of Good Morning Let's Basketball. This is episode 15 of season 3. Who would have thought we're 3 seasons deep into this? This is like our 82nd, 83rd episode in total. We keep growing the community, so we thank you for being here. We appreciate you guys watching. I am Mike Miles, and these are my co-hosts, Victor, Daniel, and Kevin. And today, as always, we have a lot packed. First, the Boston Celtics are skidding. How serious is this? Is it going to affect their postseason chances? What's really going on here? We're going to unpack it. Then we're going to move into, are the Timberwolves going to be contenders come playoff time? Halfway through the season we're at now, it's looking a little shaky. It's looking a little questionable over in Minnesota. Chris Finch has got the guys playing in a questionable way. We're going to talk and unpack whether or not they can figure it out come playoff time. And then after that, as always, we have our interactive games. Feel free to play along at home where we test our NBA trivia. Shout out Matt from Ball Game Pod. Bro was supposed to be here and bailed on us. So a moment of silence for Matt for Ball Game Pod. Let's give him 5 seconds, fellas. Other than that, before we jump into the episode, I do have an update on Dorian Finney-Smith's shooting numbers. We have a hypothesis on this podcast, if you guys have watched the last few episodes, that as shooters get to the Lakers, their percentages drop drastically. They just forget how to shoot, forget how to play under those LA lights. But Dorian Finney-Smith entered the Lakers at 43%. He's only down to 42%. So far, our hypothesis isn't looking great. Um, yeah, we'll stay in touch with that. By the end of the season, I'm sure it'll drop a little more, but we'll see. All right, let's get into topic one. GMLB family, the Boston Celtics are currently 5-4 in the month of January and 7-7 in their last 14 games at the time of recording. And it seems that the defending champions are experiencing a delayed championship hangover. What exactly is the problem here? Statistically, there isn't a specific problem standing out that imposes danger to the Celtics' future. However, they just can't seem to win games against mediocre teams. Kevin, we'll start with you today on the panel. Is the morale simply low right now, or is it something deeper? What do you think?
I'm gonna go with the morale is just a little bit low. I'm in. Just gonna start off with my statement by saying realistically, this team is probably gonna be playing ball in June. Am I lagging?
No.
No.
Not at all. I could have sworn. My apologies. Okay, I lost my sway. I think we could place some of the blame on stats here. At one point during the month of January, Derek White was shooting 28% from three.
Oof.
Bro's got to
Ugh.
bring the I think he's got to bring the headband back. Because when he had that, he was undefeated. He was like the best point guard in the league. But I just think the morale's a little bit low. The Celtics are still the Celtics, but one thing I did want to touch on was the defense. We're so used to seeing the Celtics playing championship level basketball, championship level defense, all 4 quarters of the game. I feel like the most recent games that I've watched, they'll have like a good half here, a good quarter there. The defense just hasn't been the same. And I feel like teams have just been able to keep up with it a little bit more, playing up to their level of putting up 53-point shots a game.
Hmm.
So I just think it's just a little skid, like you said earlier.
This might be because of me. The Celtics are playing like this. I remember I bet on them when they played with against the Magic without Franz Wagner. Oh my gosh, Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero, and they lost. And then I bet on them the next day, again, the win against the 76ers, they lost that one too. And they're 8-7 the last 15 games. They have lost to the Magic, 76ers, Pacers, Thunder, Kings, Raptors, and Hawks.
Atlanta twice,
Yeah.
one without Trae Young. I will make that noted.
Dude, the Hawks are the
It's
only team to beat both the Celtics and the Cavs twice this season.
Yeah, I'll
don't
add
don't
this.
catch them in the playoffs.
The Sacramento game, no Fox. Philadelphia game, Caleb Martin hit 7 threes. We just can't seem to get away from Caleb Martin. And we were also one CJ McCollum buzzer beater away from losing to the Pelicans. And honestly, at that point, chalk the whole season. Chalk it. We're done. If we lose to the Pelicans, bro, I don't care how healthy they are. We're done. I don't want to see that. Daniel, what do you think? Morale low? What's going on here?
Yeah, no, I think that there is obviously some stats to support that the Boston Celtics are in a little bit of a slump right now, but I think that just really does boil down to morale. I think I saw a quote by Joe Mazulla where he kind of talked about what Kevin was talking about, which is the defense on the team right now. And he was pretty much just saying that because they're getting guys open shots and they're not making them, and other things are going on that offense right now that are basically causing them to like their offensive woes are having a direct effect on their defense and causing their defensive guys to have to play up a little bit more, and because of that they're getting kind of ran in. So I mean, I think it really does just boil down to morale, but I don't think they should be in any scary positions right now. They shouldn't fear
This is
anything.
this is how good the Celtics have been the past 6-ish years. The third in the league record wise. And here we are talking about, oh my God, they're in trouble. That's how good this
Amen.
team's been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me throw some stats as always. In the last 10 games, not including the Warriors game because that happened last night and these stats are from before that. So disregard that absolute blowout that we witnessed. But the Celtics on the season were third in net rating. And during these last 10 games, they dropped to 12th in offensive rating. Horrible. In the last month, they were 24th in net rating in the fourth quarter. So horrible fourth quarter play, outscored by 5 points. And they have four home losses just in that stretch. And last season, when they won the championship, they lost four home games total the whole season. So in a 10 game stretch, they've lost as many home games as they did all of last season. Trash.
How many games did they lose last season total? Was it like 12 or 14?
I'll
Do you
look
know
it
off the
up.
top of your head?
Not off the
I think it
top.
was I think it was 16
16.
You're
because
the stat guy.
every year, every year I fear they're gonna break the Warriors record of 73-9, but that's we're past that now, so I can
Yeah,
sleep.
it might be the Cavs or the Thunder. But yeah, I mean, I think another thing too that's like with the Celtics and how they've been playing is they've had Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis in and out of the lineup. We've seen Luke Cornett getting a lot more minutes and playing time. And I mean, when you don't have all your guys on the court at the same time and fully healthy, and you're playing with different rotations every single night, it's going to be hard to have some of that chemistry every night. So, like, once everybody's back healthy, I think we're going to see this Celtics team get to the strength that we know that they should be at and have seen before. Is just dealing with injuries sucks, and that's a part of the NBA season, as we've seen this season, especially the injuries have been ridiculous.
Who's injured? Am I missing something? Did someone get hurt?
No, I was just saying like Porzingis started the season injured. Al Horford's missed a couple of games.
Okay, so you're saying like they're still ramping back up kind of deal?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if I like missed an injury. I was like, I swear
No,
they've been playing with their full lineup besides Horford, but yeah. Um, just jumping into some quotes. I know we've been throwing stats, but Porzingis has recently said the team has no spirit, no personality. Tatum said we're going through it. He said a more explicit version of that, but I'm not going to say it on the pod. Um, really seems like the morale is just low. Seems like they're just coasting right now. But Kevin, I saw you were going to say something. What were you going to say?
One thing I was kind of gonna build off what Victor said. I feel like last year and years prior, the Celtics were able to get away with the lack of depth for their bigs and the injuries that they've went through. This year, with how hot Cleveland has been, I don't really know if that's the case. Because if KP's not 100%, which I kind of doubt that he is ever playing at 100% with the injuries he's had, as well as Al Horford missing time, they're going to have a lot on their hands dealing with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, who are both having, you could argue, all-star level seasons.
Yeah, let's let's pivot to this. The heavy threes offense. We know the Celtics are taking about 50 threes a game this season, by far and away an NBA record for three-point attempts. Is it finally catching up to him? The dubbed Mazulla ball. What do you guys think?
I don't think it is. One of the things that I wanted, like one of the stats that I wanted to mention is over the last 14 games, the Boston Celtics in three-point field goal percentage rank 15th in open shots and 14th in wide open shots. And during that stretch of 14 games, you know who else has been having issues? Derek White. I know we have talked about that already,
True.
but in one stretch, he went 3 games shooting 1 for 18 from beyond the arc. So it's not really a dig on Derek White, but I think it is more of like, okay, when Derek White isn't like it just goes to show how important he is to that Boston team. I mean, when he's not basically able to coast at the same level of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, that team doesn't have the same success that we've seen in the past. But nothing to be scared about unless Derek White goes in after the All-Star break and comes out the same way. If that happens, Boston, I think, is a little bit in jeopardy of losing the East.
Yeah, I truly think he's the engine of that team. Outside of Tatum and Brown, he's by far and away the most important piece on both ends of the floor. And I think we've seen what happens when he doesn't shoot well. Of course, combined with Drew Holiday's just subpar play this season and Porzingis just getting back, it's taking a toll. I got some 3-point percentages of the last month. Jaylen Brown currently down 7.7%. He's shooting 27% from three. Derek White down 9%. He's shooting 32% right now. And Al Horford down 10%, shooting 31% on the season. So it's plummeted. And with a team that takes so many threes, it's not going to win you games when you can't hit them.
Did you mention Drew Holiday's percentage as well?
Not in the last month, but we could talk Drew Holiday.
Because his 3-point percentage right now, he's last season he was shooting at 42%, and now he's at 34 this season.
I saw that. Yeah. I don't know what he was this last stretch because all of those were just in these last 10 games, but overall, that 3-point percentage has dropped from Drew, who's supposed to be a reliable catch and shoot shooter with Tatum and Brown creating plays. And then on top of that, I'll add this. He's also down in rebounds. He's down a rebound a game. He's down a point per game, and he's down in assists per game. So really, everything has just declined for Drew Holiday. Shot 4 for 17 from three against Memphis. They were basically leaving him open. And he dropped in his defensive win shares. He went from top 40 to 60. So really a decline across the board for him. I hate to see that.
At age, I don't even know how old he is, but I know he's not the youngest.
Yeah.
But it's pretty crazy. They have a couple players shooting below like league average. I know league average at one point was 35. I don't know if it's still there. It's kind of flirting with that area, but yeah, they got to get that up a little bit. Also, kind of during that little stretch that they had, Boston as a team was shooting around 35 when their opponents were shooting 40% from three. So it seems like the opponents are playing the Mazulla ball better than the Celtics are. They're shooting them off
Yeah.
the court. Because that kind of was like the Celtics' plan. Mazulla said at the beginning of the year, he encouraged them to shoot a lot more threes because you guys aren't going to play this game better than my team is.
Bouncing off what you said, just a season outlook. The full season, they're at 49 attempts, 6 attempts ahead of number 2 Chicago. And these last 10 games, they're only at 44 attempts, which is only 1 attempt ahead of number 2 Cleveland. So in reality, in these last 10, they're not even playing Mazulla ball. Like they're only leading by one more 3-point attempt than the second best team, which is Cleveland. So it seems like when they're not playing Mazulla ball, they really can't get these wins like they should. Like when the math game isn't mathing, they're not really winning. So I just wanted to point that out too.
Mike, I do got a question. So you've
But
obviously watched a lot more Celtics games than us because you're a Celtics fan. Is this something you're worried about, or do you think that the Celtics will overcome this come playoff time?
this is my thing. So what scares me is I've watched this team. I've watched through Ime Udoka, through Brad Stevens, like the modern era Celtics. Their biggest criticism every single year is they play down to their competition. Every single year. The first year they stopped doing that was last year, and they won a championship and they dominated. They have a tendency to coast, even within the Tatum and Brown era, and it's really scaring me that they're coasting right now. Like, because this is a team that is known for coasting besides their championship season. So I'm really worried come like playoff time. Obviously, the Heat probably are going to be a non-factor this year, but you've seen us lose to the Heat. You've seen us just like crumple in the playoffs. I'm really hoping that we're not going to continue coasting and we're going to get it together, but it's really giving me vibes of those previous Celtics years. To answer your question though, I know this was long-winded. I'm not worried. Like I think we're going to be fine in the playoffs, but I am very concerned because like the East is a lot better than it was last year. We're not playing the Pacers in the conference finals this year. Let's get that clear. So we gotta hammer out these flaws before we get there.
Boston is cooked.
You heard it here first.
Just don't play Atlanta in the playoffs this year. Better pray they don't make it
Dude, that might be the new
because
Miami Heat.
they'll beat everybody.
Yeah. Um, Before we move on, I wanna touch on Kristaps Porzingis because we've talked about Derek White, we talked about Drew Holiday. Jaylen Brown isn't having the best season, but I'm confident he's going to be fine. But recently with Porzingis coming back, when he's on the floor, the Celtics have a negative net rating. He's a negative player right now in the starting lineup. And I know it's a small sample size, but it's just something you don't see. Also, he's being outscored in the minutes he plays, and they're 5-5 when he starts. So, they've also, like you said earlier, Kevin, they've given up more threes than they've made in his minutes specifically. So this man better get back to where he was. I know Porzingis, the thing with him is he's injury prone, but I mean, damn, bro. Like, let's get it together a little bit here. Have you
What
guys watched Porzingis since he's been back?
I don't think he's playing healthy. I don't
Do you
think
think
he
he's still
has
hurt?
played. I don't think he has played healthy in a really long time, but it's starting to stack up a little bit, I think.
That's interesting. I didn't consider that. But now I'm thinking, I'm skeptical that he's actually healthy.
Yeah, I don't. First off, when it comes to the end of the season, nobody's healthy. Everybody's playing with something. I mean, the Celtics, the last 5, 6 years, have played 100 games a season, pretty much, going
Mm.
as far as they have in the playoffs. Playing that deep all the way up until like June, even late May, it's a quick turnaround.
Mm.
Sometimes players go play for their country in FIBA or the Olympics just happened. Didn't affect Tatum too much, but or Brown. But
You had to throw that in
the
there, didn't you?
the the it's so funny because the Celtics are the first team in history to come off of a title and have a revenge tour the following season. It never
True.
happens. It almost never ever happens. But yeah, I think it's lack of rest. KP might be rushing it a little bit because we saw how
Mm.
helpful he could be. In like the one game he had in the finals, I was like, Jesus, now we got to deal with this.
It's
Yeah, I just
concerning that. Go ahead.
Well, nothing. I mean, I was just gonna say I just don't know with in the situation of Porzingis if the ends justify the means when the ends is like nowhere in sight. Like the end result for the Celtics of what their team looks like completely set with Porzingis like hasn't truly happened yet for a long period of time. So I don't know. I just think I mean I think we all came to a consensus at the beginning of the season on if they were to depart from Drew Holiday or Porzingis, who would it be? And I think we all said KP.
Really? Because I'm pretty
I don't.
sure I said Drew Holiday at the beginning of
You
the
might have.
season,
Yeah.
and
I think I was I
I
was
think it's
pretty sure
kind
I
of
said
looking
KP.
good if I did do that. I don't really remember, but right now it's very easy to say we'd rather get rid of Drew Holiday, but
If Drew Holiday shooting 17 threes in a game, yeah,
it's time to go.
that's
Nah,
step outside. We're
step
gonna need you.
outside.
We're gonna need you to take a step outside, bud. That's crazy.
It's just, man, I'm getting just going off opinions here. No more statistics. I'm just worried because we saw Kristaps Porzingis have a non-contact injury last year against the Heat. It's just not a good look, bro. Like how many he's been hurt most of his Celtics tenure. I just don't know how effective he's going to be come playoff time. I'm glad Luke Cornett has stepped up though. Um, the one positive I've seen in this last stretch is that Porzingis and Cornett lineup really works against teams. They're really bothered by that.
Did see they
But
started doing that a lot more.
yeah, I really like that lineup. Like seeing Porzingis throw lobs to Cornette and shit. Like it's fun. It's a fun lineup. It's a twin tower lineup.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why we're gonna beat the Cavs in 4 in the playoffs.
In
This is when you bring
4,
back Time Lord.
he's on the
You heard it
trade
here
block.
first. Yeah.
This is when you bring back the Time Lord. It's time for him to come back.
I
Hey,
want Grant Williams.
this is a little bit off topic, but I heard someone use a nickname, the Landlord, in the NBA. That's a tough nickname. Do you guys know what player that is? I heard it somewhere and I never looked it up.
The
Go ahead.
landlord. Sounds like a good defender, like nickname.
It's got to be like a perimeter defender nickname.
Daniel Gafford. The landlord is a
Yeah,
nickname for Daniel Gafford. Pride center around collecting rent. Huh.
Daniel Gafford had 31 the other night. That's insane.
The
Oh, 'cause
landlord.
give me that.
Huh. Am I
But
tripping or like, am I missing it? Does it? The landlord? Is it just because he like blocks shots? Like, I don't. It sounds cool, but like when you think about it, like it kind of. Does it make sense to you guys or am I just missing something?
If I think of it from the perspective of give me that. Like if you got a block and you said, give me that. Or
Ah,
you got
okay.
you stole a ball, give me that. That's what a landlord does.
I mean, he's a good defender, but he's not like changing the NBA. Like,
yeah. I was just say I don't know if he fully deserves that nickname, but
all right, shout out Dan Gafford, man. Derek Lively's back up. Shout out the Bulls for trading him. Per usual, the Bulls trade someone, he becomes really good. We're used to that at
campaign.
this point. Lowry Markkinen, Wendell Carter. The list can go on forever, let's be honest. Pat Williams is the next candidate, by the way. When he gets traded, I can't wait for him to break out. I heard someone say he could have like a DeAndre Hunter type breakout where it's like year 7 and he just like starts averaging 20. I see that in his
No,
future.
no. I'm sorry. I think the curse ends there. That MF is so damn trash. There's no way he breaks out. Maybe in
He's
China, not in the States. Not happening.
he's got to be one of the most disappointing players in the league besides like Bam this
I
season.
I don't think there was any hype really on Patrick Williams this season.
I mean,
He
yeah, but that's just because he plays for the Bulls. Like everyone knows he should have taken the next step, bro.
yeah, like
Like how long does it
4 years
take?
ago.
Is he the new guy that's 3 years away from being 3 years away? Like Bruno Fernando?
Oh,
All right, fellas. Let's talk Timberwolves. Fellas, last time we talked about the Knicks, it wasn't looking very pretty. But now we're going to a Timberwolves perspective. Not only did the Knicks get Mikal Bridges, they also got Karl-Anthony Towns for Julius Randle as well. Today we're going to talk about the struggling Timberwolves team. Last season they were third in the West and made the Western Conference Finals. Right now they're the 8th seed and 22-20, about halfway through the season. What exactly is going on? What's going on here? Let's unpack it a little bit. Victor, what was your reaction to the Knicks getting KAT, and can the Timberwolves turn the ship around?
My reaction when the Timberwolves traded away Karl-Anthony Towns was it 2023? Because I remember when we first started the podcast, the Knicks were trying to get Karl-Anthony Towns, and I thought those rumors had died out. And when they went out and got KAT, I was very shocked, and the whole NBA was as well. And it didn't really make sense why the Timberwolves would try to break up that team after they just went to the Western Conference Finals. But as we can see, it's been working for the Knicks. For the Timberwolves, hasn't really. And they've been struggling the whole season. Anthony Edwards has been having negative comments towards the team, saying that they can't get it together, or like the energy's not there, etc. I got other quotes that I can get into later. But as far as them turning it around, it's like it's very interesting because the West now is so competitive and the Rockets came out of nowhere. I think if they make a trade deadline and maybe get rid of like Mike Conley, and there were some other trades around Julius Randle that they could do, I could see them maybe turning it around. But as for right now, they've been struggling, man.
You want to see Mike Conley go?
Get some Rob Dillingham minutes. I think he's gonna be a stud in the future.
He might. But like, I don't know. After KAT left the Wolves, like they don't really have like an identity. I feel like they're still trying to figure that out. I mean, they got rid of their longest tenured player, I think, on Minnesota. I believe he is. He's been there for like what? He was there for like what? 9 years, 10 years. Was
Yeah.
also their best player for like 7 of those years before Anthony Edwards got there and became who he was. So there was a shift, and they haven't really learned how to deal with it. Do I think a swap of Julius Randle and KAT was the best move? No, not at all, because like all of the reasons. But I've said it from time and time again, like what made the Timberwolves so good, it's just the personnel of KAT, how he was able to just extend so much on offense while Anthony Edwards was still able to do his thing, and having Rudy Gobert sit down there and do whatever he does. I don't know.
The big stone hands. Daniel, what do you think? What's your initial
Uh,
thought?
I
What's the
mean,
problem?
I've been pretty adamant since this trade began that I thought without even looking at it, the immediate losers of that trade were the Timberwolves. And I saw a different spin on it that said that KAT going to New York allowed for the ceiling on the Knicks to be higher, whereas on the Timberwolves, the Julius Randle trade basically brought the ceiling down. Like you guys said, they don't have an identity, and I think it was just a bad situation for KAT to leave there because KAT obviously held or not held, but KAT obviously was um, a three ball threat, and adding in Julius Randle and DiVincenzo, I don't think was enough to fill that void personally.
Let's let Mike Miles throw the stats at you like always when we get into these topics. Team declines from 2023. I got a few here. Defensive rating. Obviously, last year they were number one, 108.4. This year, number seven. They've dropped 2 points to the number seven spot in the NBA. Rebound percent. They were number eight last year, 50.8 to 15 this year, 15.1. Pace. Last year they were number 23. All right. That's not good. That's bottom of the barrel. This team isn't really running in transition. They're not shooting early in the shot clock. This year, declined even more. Went from 23 to number 27 in the NBA in pace. That's
That makes
bad.
sense. That
And we
makes
know
sense
why.
though. Yeah.
It makes
Julius
sense to
Randle's sitting here
them.
dribbling the air out of the basketball.
It like makes sense just because of who they got. Like that's like the most. I don't even know. I can't even put it into words. Like we all know who Julius Randle is. He was like Mello that tried to be Mello, you know.
Yeah.
But like Mello was him. But also another thing, they're not utilizing DiVincenzo the correct way. They're trying to have him be a playmaker, but that's just not who he is. This is a 3-and-D guy. He wants to be in the corner, he wants to D up. You shouldn't really have him trying to create for your offense. So I don't really like. He looks miserable there. By the way, he struggled immensely in the beginning. He's picked it up a little bit, but the utilization of the new pieces that they have has not been like they have not taken the right approach to it.
Yeah.
The did you have something?
I was gonna say, just talking about DiVincenzo before we jump off it. I don't know if you were gonna jump off it or not, but
Yeah.
I really like that they moved him to the starting lineup for that exact reason. I think when he was playing with the bench unit, he just had too much responsibility. Just like you said, playmaking and trying to like carry the offensive load while also being a plus defender at a high level. So I think moving him into the starting lineup, he's been playing like much, much better than when he was coming off the bench. Um, just takes the load off of him a little more so that he can be that 3-and-D, create when he has to type of player alongside Ant and Julius Randle. But go ahead, Vic. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I was just say back to an earlier point about like what I was talking about with like trading away Julius Randle and Mike Conley. It was something that I saw that was interesting, just to take some of the like ball handling and playmaking responsibilities away from like Anthony Edwards or DiVincenzo. To Kevin's point, was the Timberwolves are looking to be a part of a 3-team trade for the Jimmy Butler scenario. They're looking to get some pieces out of that, but not Jimmy Butler. And one of the players that they were thinking about getting was Tyus Jones.
I think he's so overrated, bro. I think he's so overrated. All anyone knows about Tyus Jones is his assist to turnover ratio. But like, yeah, he's cool, but Trey Jones is better. Like, but no one talks about Trey Jones. Not that they would
I
go
mean,
get Trey Jones, but like that's just an example of why he's overrated.
like Tyus Jones is good, but he's not moving the needle too much for that team. I don't think they're gonna get him and they're gonna be like, oh, this is what we were missing.
For
It's like,
sure.
no, that's not it. He's
Like, what
good. He's
is
really good. I like him, but not what they
what is
need.
what is Tyus Jones doing that Mike Conley can't do exactly?
He's younger.
Yeah, but
Plus,
come on.
Mike Conley has a little bit of a down year. But for your point about Trey Jones, I just feel like it's just a team that he's on that nobody wants to talk about him.
I guess, yeah.
Because
Also, Mitch Johnson doesn't like to play him, but that's none of my business.
Yeah. He's also playing behind Chris Paul too, though. So it's kind of hard to shine. It's hard to shine as a point guard behind the point guard. So maybe next year. Maybe next year.
What was I gonna say here? Yeah. A big thing here. I mean, we could just talk Julius Randle real quick. The declines from 2023. He's down 5 points a game. That's a pretty steep decline for a player who's supposed to be the second option, similar to what he was in New York next to Brunson. He's also down 2 rebounds. That's not like a big thing because you're playing with Rudy Gobert. He is shooting better from three. He's 31% last season, 34% this season. But I mean, he's just inconsistent, bro. I mean, we know this. Like 5 points against Memphis, 8 points against New York. Like, how are you going to have games when you're not in double figures and expect to win? Like, who else is going to do the scoring on the team? It's not going to be Rudy Gobert. It's like Nas Reed sometimes. It's not like DiVincenzo, like, can have his game here and there. But, like, I mean, come on. Like, 5 points against Memphis? Come on. You can't score in Santi Aldama? Step up, bro.
Can't score on Triple J. It's definitely not Jaden McDaniels either. Priced on a bike.
um, let's talk Jaden McDaniels. How about the guy who literally is one of my favorite players in the league? I'm very biased towards Jaden McDaniels, but Bro literally just did not improve whatsoever. Like, so Chris Finch goes, I thought this was funny. Chris Finch on September 30th was quoted, Jaden McDaniels had one of the best summers of any Wolves player, according to Chris Finch. Bro, if you look at his stats from last season to this season, like they are almost identical. Literally. Like look at them. It was like 10.1 points, 10.3 points. It was like insane. Like just his basic stats identical. But he has declined specifically in his three-point shooting. The percent may not seem like it's that steep of a decline, but he's on the same attempts on 33% three-point shooting. Like, how are you need shooters around Ant, bro. Like, this is just common
So
sense.
what's crazy about the 3-point shooting this year is last season they were 15th in the NBA with 3-pointers made. This season they're 4th in the NBA with 656. But how much is that with Anthony Edwards? Because I think he has 189 on the season, 182 3-pointers made.
Hmm.
And it's just crazy that with his step take, like the step he took to be knocking down the 3-pointers this year has been insane. He's leading the league in 3-pointers, and the Timberwolves are 4th.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say that that's literally just Anthony Edwards. Like, that's probably 75% Ant Edwards on that. Um, so I'm gonna swing it back. I'll give you someone who's not shooting well. Going back to Jaden McDaniels here. So right now, as of this is of January 3rd. So these stats may be a little different now, but as of January 3rd, he was third in wide open shot attempts on the team with the second worst field goal percentage on the team at 34%. He's also the worst on the team at what the NBA deems open shots. He shoots 22% on open shots. I think he needs to be traded, bro. I think he's the piece that gets traded for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know how far you could go. Obviously, he's a great defender, even if he's a current negative player on the floor, like on defense. I just he's the piece, bro. It's not Randall, it's not Conley. It's Jaden McDaniels who's gonna be that guy, I think, that gets traded.
Pretty interesting take. Obviously, him being the best on ball defender, but they almost do need a score at that wing right there. It's not
I
Julius
think
Randle right now. Definitely
I
not.
think why don't we just plug Nikhil Alexander Walker in that lineup? He's a slightly worse defender depending on who you ask, and he shoots 40% from three.
He's not doing. He's not going to move the needle on offense that much.
But it's another
Like,
shooter, you know.
I mean, but we're going like from like offensively from Jaden McDaniels to Nikhil Alexander Walker. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think that's going to fix their offensive woes too
I am
much.
a Yeah, it might be biased. I'm very high on Alexander Walker. Um, I really
Dude,
like the duo of him and Jaden McDaniels, but McDaniels is just he's just not doing it, bro. He's not doing it this season.
I'm surprised you have that much faith in Julius Randle.
I think it's like, yeah, he's not playing well, but like he's not a good fit on any team. Like I feel like surrounding him, like literally just changing that position to just a better shooter could switch up so much for their team. If they could just have a consistent shooter to pull defenders from the other two guys. But
but yeah,
yeah, obviously it's not great, but like you're not going to get anything for Julius Randle. You might as well just keep him at this point and figure it out.
This is when they go get one of those Jason Tatum esque wing prototypes. Jalen Johnson. There's a lot of them, and they're starting to come up now. You gotta might have to invest in a young guy.
That's true. Um, can I throw a trade scenario at you guys that I really like?
go ahead.
Right.
Can
So
I
this is
guess though?
this is yeah, go ahead.
Actually, can I just guess a team? Does it involve the Chicago Bulls?
It does.
Okay, I think I saw this one, but go ahead.
Okay. This is I rarely bring trade proposals that I actually mess with that I think work for all three teams. Just like what works salary wise that people are buzzing about. This one I really think benefits all three teams. So here we go. The trade proposal. The Timberwolves get Kobe White and John Collins. Boom. There's your shooter and playmaker in Kobe White. John Collins, there's your replacement for Julius Randle. Julius Randle is involved in this trade. This is primarily Jaden McDaniels, but Randle's in there too. Bulls get Julius Randle and Jordan Clarkson from the Jazz. Utah gets Jaden McDaniels, Lonzo Ball, Chris Duarte. It's a win for all three teams, bro. I'm telling you.
You only discuss the wins for the Timberwolves. He goes Kobe White, playmaker, then he goes Bulls. This is who they get.
Well, that's who we're
Next.
talking about. That's who we're talking about. The Bulls get Julius Randle. You
Yeah.
pair him with Zach LaVine, and Vus will be gone by then. LaVine and Randle, Jordan Clarkson. I
Who
mean,
does Utah get?
Hey,
Utah gets McDaniels, Lonzo Ball, and Chris Duarte.
So now I have to watch Julius Randle and Pat Williams.
Hey, man.
Sick.
It's better than watching
That's awesome.
it's better than watching what they have now, in my opinion.
No, it is
Yeah.
is not. It
That's-
is just not.
No, yeah, but you basically just screwed the Bulls.
yeah.
Did I though? You get
Yeah.
you get two very positive players.
No. I'm not a
Positive.
fan of Jordan Clarkson anymore. He's
Eh.
not been Jordan Clarkson the past few years.
Neither of those players are better than the players that we're giving up
Well-
either. In my opinion.
Julius Randle is definitely better than Lonzo Ball and Chris Duarte. He's better than Kobe White as well. Like, let's call a
Long-term
spade a spade
investment,
here.
I don't
He's
know if
better than all three of the players involved in this trade.
I think
I
the
wouldn't
last
want Julius Randle. I don't think he'd be.
I think the last time the Bulls made a trade that was huge was 2020. And so if they do this trade, that's a pretty big one for them. And that'd be another 4 years of mid. And I am not down to watch that disaster. That would be
I
terrible.
mean, you guys just act like the Bulls are doing something. You're like, I don't want Julius Randle, but you're cool with
Dude,
like having
no,
Zach LaVine, Vucevic,
That's
Pat Williams, Josh Giddey, and Kobe White just be like the 10th
But-
seed.
But like
Like,
us
make it-
getting
like, bro.
not what it is. That's not.
But you
what
just
it
said that
is,
he
like-
won't fit anywhere either.
I
So
mean,
like,
he
wouldn't
won't.
it be the same thing as like the Timberwolves going and getting him? It's like for
I mean,
what?
He doesn't fit anywhere, but like how it's not any better than what you guys are doing now. So like,
I mean, I think what we have right now is way better than Clarkson and Randall, like millenniums better. And
10th seed?
Yeah,
by
I
the
agree.
way,
a 10
by the way, we'd be worse without them.
That's what
but,
you
like,
want.
But listen, I don't think that right now the Bulls are doing something. I do not believe that. I have eyes that work just fine most of the time. And when I watch the Bulls, if you put Julius Randle on that team with Jordan Clarkson and Pat Williams and Vucevic and LaVine without Kobe White, that is god awful. I'd rather
Well-
them just be the 10th. I'd rather just have them in Atlanta every year fight for the 9 and 10 seed like they have been the past 4 years than watch that shit.
Hypothetically, you would also trade Pat Williams. Like you wouldn't keep the entire roster and just add Randall. You would move the rest of the roster as well. But
So
yeah,
basically-
if you decide to keep the roster, which would never happen, then yes, it would be horrible.
It's basically just sending Julius Randle to die.
You might as well. You might as well.
But why to
Timberwolves
us?
might as well, but
We're
Do
not
you
the,
wanna
we're
see
not the
Julie-
recycling
we don't
bin.
accept that.
You guys are though. You guys are the recycling.
We
bin,
are.
though.
Well,
Like, come on. You guys are the recycling bin franchise.
are we?
Every player that goes there's career dies.
Not true. Zach LaVine's career didn't die.
Is pretty dead right now.
Mar
You
DeRozan
couldn't even
didn't
find
either.
you couldn't even find a trade target for him.
Yeah, there's targets. The Bulls just don't trade. That's their issue. They don't. The last trade was for Vus, and that was it's worked out the way that it's worked out. But he's played his best basketball in Chicago. But realistically, Chicago's not going to make a trade. It's not what they do. It's not what any
Yeah.
Chicago sports team does.
Yeah, that's fair. If it was realistic, I wouldn't bring it. Because then it wouldn't be fun. But yeah, personally, I think it works for all three teams. Agree to disagree on this one. Um, but yeah, that's the trade scenario I brought.
Or
Get
are they
it.
cooked?
Timberwolves are
Uh,
cooked.
I don't think so. I really don't think they're cooked. I think they're gonna make the playoffs as a six seed, and they're probably gonna play the Rockets and beat them first round. So I know I said the Rockets could win a playoff series, but not if it's against the Wolves. The Wolves will beat them. Jalen Green in the playoffs, y'all really think he's doing something? I love Jalen Green, but I know damn well he's not doing nothing in the playoffs.
Julius Randle ain't. I'll tell you that right now. Rudy Gobert and McDaniels aren't either. If Julius Randle puts up tour dates shooting wise, like he does, that's what he gets paid to do. Shit, these Rockets will steamroll him. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a fun
Two,
series, but personally, I think the Wolves are taking that.
We're pulling for Grizzlies Timberwolves. That's the series we're pulling for.
That'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
Because
With
if the
that,
playoffs started right now, why at least I think the what's it called? My goodness, who are they? Houston's third, I think. Look that up real quick. If I do, my computer will crash and burn.
Rockets are second.
second.
The Grizzlies
Second,
are
yeah.
third. Timberwolves are ninth.
Okay, I meant to say the Grizzlies were third. I don't know why I said Rockets. And ninth.
They'll get there. They'll get those wins up.
I don't know, man. That locker room too, man, with Anthony Edwards' comments towards the team. I think a lot of it starts with him too. Just, I mean, like calling them out for sure, but he's. This is some of the quotes he said. He said, "We soft as hell as a team internally." He said, "We don't have shit on offense. We don't have no identity. We know I'm gonna shoot a bunch of shots. We know um Jew gonna shoot a bunch of shots, and that's all we know. We don't really have anything else. It's not the coaches at all. It's on us, and we out there playing." And he said the starting five, we were terrible. I would say the starting group got to come out with more energy, like we want to play the game of basketball.
Dude, he's just not wrong though. Like someone's got to say it, and who better than your franchise player compared to
I
where
don't
this team was last season at this time? It's you got to have those uncomfortable convos, man.
I don't really think it I don't really think it means anything, to be honest. I think he's just frustrated with the team. I don't think it's actually affecting any locker room stuff. I mean, like we said with the Celtics, I think it's just low morale seeping through. But someone's got to hold them accountable. So
Yeah, it's like you said, low morale like the Celtics, but just a little worse. I'd probably
yeah,
say way worse actually. Celtics are at least still contenders in who they are, but the Timberwolves, like from where they were last year at this time to now ninth, it's not looking good, bro.
I mean, if you look at these quotes, it's we soft as hell. We don't have anything on offense. The starting five, we are terrible. Like he's also holding himself accountable. Like he's not just calling out teammates and stuff.
Should have.
So
It would have been a lot funnier if he said Julius Randle soft as hell. Jaden McDaniels ain't got no offense. I'm shooting a lot. Get them boys fired up. That's what you got to do.
yeah, I think they're gonna be fine, personally.
We knew what
Um,
he meant.
What is out of curiosity, what's your like metric for fine? Like better than they did last season, the same as they did
no,
last season in
no,
the playoffs?
no, no, they're not gonna be that good. Fine is like you will win a first round series in my book is fine. If you were gonna, I don't think they're contenders, but if you win a first round series, I would say that's a successful season. Like, yes, you went to the Western Conference Finals last year, but you just switched, like, you literally just traded one of your best players. And they knew going into this season that that was for contractual reasons. It's a future outlook that they're going for. They're looking to their future. So you're going to expect a decline this season for the sake of the future to be better. So I would say winning that first round series, depending on who they play, if they get like in as the eighth seed, and have to play like OKC, then yeah, they're screwed. But I think they could get up to the 6th seed and probably play like Houston or Memphis, and I think they can win both those series.
Damn. Against Memphis? That's crazy.
Bro, why does everyone think Memphis is so good?
I
Everyone's like,
think
they're
they have a
so deep. They're so
I,
deep.
I think
Like,
they have a better chance beating Memphis than they do Houston.
I
like
agree.
Ja Morant's the most overrated superstar in the league. And don't make me go on a monologue. I will go solo squads on the Grizzlies right now if I need to. I'll just leave it at that. Ja Morant is the most overrated superstar in the league.
I think
Bro
he's
is just
stretching of a
not that
superstar.
good. Like, dude, like,
I also I,
being on Ja Island is like a privilege for a defender. I'm sorry. Like if I'm on Ja Island, bro, I'm sitting on that and I'm happy with the spin move floater he's gonna put up and just brick. Like I'm so tired of watching Ja Morant, bro.
Bro's not D Rose.
no, I was just gonna say I'm with you guys. I think, and it's more about the potential of the Timberwolves, like in a playoff series, having that like competitive nature. And the guys on paper still aren't like terrible. Like when I think about like Rudy Gobert playing well, Ant playing well, McDaniels and DiVincenzo and Randall all playing well at the same time, like that team could get hot and could beat the Grizzlies, but I don't know.
All right, do they beat the Nuggets?
No.
Do you guys think in a first round?
It's hard to count out Jokic. I think they take him to 6 games, but ultimately they lose. 6 or 7, they lose.
I think it'll be a deep series, but yeah, I'm just gonna piggyback Miles here. I can't count out Jokic, especially how he's been playing. Russ improving a little bit. He's itching to get back to the playoffs. But yeah, no, I don't think they beat Denver. I think they could beat LA if they match up the Clippers. If they match
Yeah,
up against the Clippers, Lakers
Easily.
ain't making the playoffs.
for sure. That's who I thought they could beat too.
Unless Norm Powell just goes on the legacy run, averages like 30 in the playoffs, wins the finals.
What about the other LA?
What about the other LA?
What about him?
Hey, they're praying that they make the playoffs.
Bro, aren't they? Have you guys looked at the
There's
standings?
no,
They're
I
like
know
the
they're
sixth.
sixth. I know.
Yeah.
They've just been playing teams for like a couple seasons.
But like, what about him? I'm still standing on that
Yeah.
statement strong.
I mean, they're not like obviously they're not playoff threats against the West, but like not making the playoffs is pushing it. Like they are 6 right now. Let's give them a little bit of credit.
Yeah, but when the Timberwolves move to 6th, they'll go to 8th.
Yeah.
They'll lose the play in. It's LeBron retires.
Yeah, I mean, I always, God, yeah.
Good take.
Are they
I'm
cooked?
sorry. I'm sorry. I like every time I open the standings for this season and I look at the wins and losses and stuff, it's just insane to me that like so many teams are locked in with each other.
Yeah. That's a good
Like
point.
6 through 10 is 20, like from last to top is 21 and 21, 22 and 21, 22 and 20, 23 and 20, and 22 and 18. And then it only gets more close together the farther you go up.
Yeah. All right, fellas, let's move into games. Vic, take it away.
GMLB family, it's officially game time. Feel free to play along at home and see if you can beat our hosts in NBA trivia. To see the graphic and play along easier, feel free to view the video on YouTube or Spotify. Let's get into it with our first trivia quiz. Guess the NBA team by the highest career points in a game.
Yeah, you're getting creative, aren't you?
Highest career points in a game.
Yeah, we've done this one. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. This is Wemby and the Spurs.
No, it's gonna be the Houston Rockets, like every week.
All right, it's on the third page.
This the Houston
Is
Rockets?
this the Houston Rockets?
No.
Oh, that's funny. It's them or Toronto every time. All right. For our audio
22.
listeners, sorry, I'm going to give them the rundown. So the career highs for this team, the point guard 43, the shooting guard 42, small forward 22, power forward 39, center 30. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, 22 could be Jaden McDaniels. This bum ass.
That's crazy. I think Randall had 50 though. Is
Yeah,
this
I'm
Randall
going.
accounting
does have.
for is this accounting for injuries?
This team does have an injury. Yeah,
Hmm,
Could it be you said it's not the Rockets, right? For real?
it's not. Oh,
Okay, because Jalen Green's like career high is like 40 something. It's like 45.
I don't know. I'm looking at that center with a 30-point career high because immediately eliminates a lot of teams.
but you should stare harder.
Mitchell's had yeah, well, yeah, Mitchell's had like 70. Never mind. We can eliminate all the 70 teams, so no Mavs, no Bucks, no Suns. There's one I'm missing. No Mavs, no Bucks, no Suns, no Sixers. He is hurt though. Dude, their lineup switches so much. I don't even know like who would be
He's not.
considered in the starting lineup right now.
He's not playing against Denver tonight again.
Dude, why does he just duck? That's actually insane.
It's funny.
There's
Hmm.
a whole lot of money in this motherfucker. I must
Does
have not been
Zion have a
listening.
40 ball?
Dude, this one sucks. This one's hard because everyone has like a career high. Like everyone has one of those nights, and it could be like literally one. Damn.
Not for the three.
Trey Young said 50, right?
Yeah.
I know Chris Paul's career high is 43, but Wemby's is obviously more.
Is Wemby hurt? No, because then never
No,
mind.
he's not.
It's clearly the three that's hurt.
Ants had 50, yeah. Cats had 62, so it can't be the Knicks. Let's look at bump centers because a career like this is career high. So if your career high is 30, you're like
No, yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I was saying like a center with 30 points per game or 30 career high. Yeah,
Curry's Curry's for sure had 50, right?
Yeah.
he's had
Yeah.
more than that. Yeah.
Okay. Clips, yeah, Harden's had 60. Rockets, Victor said it wasn't the Rockets. Y'all think Josh Giddey had 43?
I I've never heard of it.
No, I'm kidding. Um,
Yeah, Pat
what about
Williams
the
40 ball.
what about the Heat? You think Bam's had more? Bam's definitely had. What if he's playing the four though, and Khalil Ware is playing the five now? He's been playing really well. I don't think he's started though. It's not the Cavs. It's not the Bucks. I was gonna say the Hawks, bro. Capella, Risa Shea. But Risa Shea's had more than 22. I watched the game. He had more than 22. I'm pretty sure. Because Jalen Johnson 39, Bogdanovich 42, Trae Young 43. That like fits kind of. Does Bogdanovich even start for them though? Still,
I think he does.
they should start Krejci, bro. Krejci is a freaking bucket.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure on this one.
It just like makes sense.
Utah maybe.
Is it Asar? Could it be Cade, Tim Hardaway Jr., Duran with 30, Tobias 39? Is that Asar Thompson 22? Could be. Yeah, let's go.
I kind of like that.
I kind of like that too. Let's go. Is this the Detroit Pistons?
You guys actually got it. It was the Detroit Pistons.
Did we get the lineup? Was that Asar Thompson with 22?
Yeah.
There we go.
Here is a second team.
I give up. I gave it a fair shake. I give up.
All right, 50 bomb from the power forward.
I have a
Nope.
feeling this is the Pacers. No, I'm kidding. I lied. I lied. All right, fellas, who's a good power forward? Julius Randle. He's had 50 for sure.
Could
It's
this be the
someone
Timberwolves?
it's someone with an injury. Oh, hold on. Has Fred had 50? Fred has had 50, right?
Hmm.
Them Raptors days, yeah.
Okay, so it's not LeBron and them in LA.
I'm assuming the shooting guard is the one that got hurt.
It's not Sacramento. It's not the Clippers. It's not Portland. Or is it? No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know if Simons is back, but Scoot was starting. And he had 48, I think, didn't he? He had like a 40-point game or something.
I just don't think Jeremy Grant has had that high. It's 49 points.
Mm. What's KD's career high? It's got to be at least 50 something.
Yeah. And D Book's got 70. I
Yeah, good point.
think Brad has 52. Or he's got like 46, 47.
Could this be Quickly, Barrett, Pirtle, Scotty Barnes, and would that be Ochai Obaji?
At 23.
Ochai Abaji. I don't know. Do you guys has RJ Barrett had 40 plus? Probably.
I think he has.
Has he had 50?
No, he
No.
hasn't had 50.
43. Scotty Barnes, 49. Pirtle. It like makes sense. But Victor said someone got hurt. That's their usual starting lineup. It could be like,
You left out Mr. Dick.
yeah, but Grady was only starting because Quickly was hurt. I'm pretty sure. I'm. Did they start Ochai Abaji? I thought they did. Maybe you're right. But even then, I feel like Grady Dick has had more than 23.
Yeah, he has.
That fits, but that doesn't seem right. It's oh, Cam Johnson's hurt. Cam Johnson is hurt, and he's had 50 plus. So this could be the Nets without Cam Johnson. But a power forward who had 49? Damn, dude, this one is hard. Like just this game in general. I could sit here and reason it, but I kind of just want to send one so we could move on.
I'm down to send Brooklyn if you are.
Brooklyn or Toronto?
Oh, yeah, I think Toronto was a better guess.
Okay. Has Zion had 50?
No.
Because it could be hypothetically if McCollum. I don't know if McCollum got hurt. I honestly have no idea. But it could be. No, Murray's had more. Yeah, you could say it. Let's just send that.
Send Toronto.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say, is this the Toronto Raptors?
This was actually the Portland Trailblazers. Scoot,
Okay.
Tumani Kamara, Denny Advita, Grant, and Aiton.
Where's Scoot at?
I
Scoot's
literally
Scoot's had
40.
said,
Scoot's had 40, didn't he?
No, 39.
I literally said too. I was like, Jeremy Grant hasn't had that high. I know that for a fact. Oh, idiot. It was like one of the first teams I said too.
Damn it. I thought it was 41. That sucks.
Guess the NBA team by all-star appearances.
Interesting. This one should be easy.
You would
Got a one-time All-Star at point.
think about it. So it's not Denver. It's not LA, the Clippers. It's it's
It's a team with a
could it
front court that's probably played together for the last 3 years.
Could it be? No, I was gonna say Sacramento, but no. I think DeRozan has more anyway.
Yeah, definitely more than zero.
Yeah, there's a lot of all-stars on this team.
Yeah, there really is.
Gobert, Randall, Ant with two, and then who's the one though?
Conley.
Because Conley doesn't start.
Oh shoot. The
Yeah, Vic, I think if this is the Wolves, Conley doesn't start anymore. They start DiVincenzo now. Yeah, he's looking it up. It's definitely the Timberwolves. Brody needs
Are
to
you
check.
sure?
They
It
they go back and forth.
as of right
And
now, Dante DiVincenzo is out and Mike Conley is in.
oh, is he hurt
Yeah,
or what?
DiVincenzo's been hurt. Give me a second.
Okay.
I'm glad Daniel brought that up because I've been trying to pick up. Actually, I don't know if I should say that because Marco watches the pod, so I've been trying to pick up DiVincenzo, but I'm waiting till he comes back.
I didn't know he was hurt, but yeah, he does start over Mike Conley. But if he's hurt, then yeah. Is this the Minnesota Timberwolves?
This was the Minnesota Timberwolves.
It's so weird. Mike Conley's first All-Star was so late in his career. He was like 32, wasn't he? So late.
he was like a Kyle Lowry type late bloomer.
It like wasn't that long ago when he was an All-Star. It
I
was
think
like
it was
his Jazz days.
2021.
Yeah.
Here's the
Bang
second
bang.
team.
All right, we got a point guard who's a three-time All-Star, and that's it. Bro, get him some help. Damn. Damn. Is it Shea? Would it be the Thunder, you think?
I don't. Has he been three times already? I don't think so.
I mean, he's been in the MVP race like 4 years, 3 or 4 years now.
Shea?
Yeah, like last season and the season before that,
Season
at
before
least
that, Thunder
three.
didn't even make the playoffs. I think Shea was a first or second time All Star last year. I don't think Shea has three.
Hold on. What was this is 2024, 2025, 2023, 2024.
Say Cleveland, but I think he has more than three.
No, it's definitely not Cleveland.
Yeah, Shea finished number 7 in 2022, 2023 on the MVP ladder. Even if they didn't make the playoffs, it's got to be Shea.
Has he been three times? Has he really been three?
Bro, if you finish 7th in MVP voting, you're gonna be an all-star. I think the writing is on the wall here because it's him. Right now, it's Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, Hartenstein, and I'm missing someone. Who am I missing? Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, Hartenstein. It's usually Chet, but who am I missing? Because Cason Wallace is the sub in that lineup.
Did you say J Dub?
Oh, J-Dub, that's who I'm missing. Yeah. It's Shea, Wallace, J-Dub, Hartenstein, and Lou Dort. So yes. Is this the Oklahoma City Thunder?
You should have listened to Kevin because Shea is a two-time All-Star, and this was the
Fucking knew it.
Atlanta Hawks.
I fucking knew it.
Trey's only been an All-Star 3 times.
The league hates him.
Really? Oh, he's been
Oh,
snubbed like
yeah, I
four
was gonna
years
say
though.
like he should have like five
Yeah.
or four, but he has been snubbed.
So he finished 7th on the MVP ladder and wasn't an All-Star in 2022.
I think
That's
he.
crazy.
Do you mean like 2022, 2023 season?
Oh, I counted this year.
I was about to say, bro. I was like, I
I
don't
counted
know,
this
fool.
year
I
because
thought
he's
you
gonna be
were,
an
but I was
all-star this
like,
year. My
I thought
fault.
you were
Yeah,
for a second, but I was like, no, I don't think he would do that. But dude, you had me
yeah.
tripping for a second. I was like,
When
Shea hasn't been good for that long.
when I said the last 3 years, I like included him as an all-star this year. So it'd be 2022 to 2025. Oh, that's on me. Yeah, that's on me. I counted him as this year. Shit. GMLB family, thank you guys all for being here. We appreciate you watching the episode and spending some time with us. Let us know what you think about the Celtics or the Timberwolves in the comments. And if you beat us in any interactive games, let us know in the comments because we love interacting with you guys. But as always, if you want to email the show, we read all emails on the show at gmlbfans@gmail.com. And as always, you can find our clips on Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and our full episodes in audio form on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We thank you all for being here. And with that being said, we're out of here.